Hey, hello guys, very good morning. Thanks for joining the class. Guys, we'll start the class in a few minutes, just wait. So today our target is to complete Spring Security module, guys. Okay. So the Spring Security module plays a it plays a crucial role in the interviews. So we'll try to complete everything in Spring Security. If something is pending, we'll see that in the next class, guys. Okay, probably tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. 1 minute, guys. Let me ping in the group. Guys, if you have any doubts, please ask me in the comment section. Okay. Yeah, 11:05, 11:05. Yeah, 3 more minutes, guys. Yeah, we'll start. Just wait, okay? 3 more minutes, we'll start the class. Because people are joining since like, yeah. Guys, am I audible, guys? Can you please ping in the chat box? Am I audible? Hello? Guys, am I audible? Backside Dhoni pick వస్తుంది. Okay, thanks for the confirmation, guys. We'll start the class now. Guys, I just want to know how much knowledge you guys have in Spring Security module. I just want to know. Can you please ping in the chat box? Are you guys an intermediate or or a basic level or expert level. I just, for some clarity so that I can proceed in the same pace. Guys, what is the uh, clarity you have in, okay, basic, okay, beginner, okay? Good guys, good. Guys, don't worry. I'll try to cover everything in Spring Security today, from basic to end. Okay, right? Guys, let me confirm me. Are you able to see my screen or not? Right, guys. If you want notes, right, after the class, ping, say hi to this number. Say hi to this number. I'll share the notes, guys. Okay. Okay. Spring Security. Guys, actually, last weekend we have taken a class about a threat pool executor and executor pool framework. Okay, you can see in our YouTube channel, okay, for the recordings of those. Okay, guys, first of all, the Spring Security, see, there are 6 ways, guys. In Spring Security, there are 6 versions are there. You can say 6 approaches of Spring Security. Any idea, guys? Can you name them? The 6 approaches of Spring Security? Anyone? There are 6 approaches of Spring Security. Any idea, guys? The 6, at least, like, default security, custom security, in-memory authentication, okay, JWT, OAuth 2.0. Likewise, there are 6 ways, guys. Okay. So before going for 6 approaches, as I said, we'll first try to understand. We will try to understand the architecture of the Spring Security. We'll try to understand architecture of the Spring Security. Guys, are you able to see my screen? Can you please ping in the chat box? Guys, are you able to see in the chat box? Sorry. Are you able to see my screen? Whichever I'm writing. Can you please ping in the chat box, guys? If you're not able to see my screen, I'll reshare the screen again. Okay. See. Yeah. We'll try to understand the architecture of Spring Security. Guys, first of all, you should understand the architecture very well, guys. The thing is, right? Why architecture is very important, right? Because the interviewer, he or she will expect, your understanding on the architecture of Spring Security. That is very much mandatory. Understanding of architecture is very, very important, guys. Okay. So before going for any approaches, okay, we'll try to cover the architecture of the Spring Security. Like what is filter layer? Okay. What is Spring Boot container? What is interceptor? Okay, where they will fit in. Likewise, we'll try to cover everything. Okay, before going for approaches of Spring Security, we'll try to understand the architecture of the Spring Security, guys. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, so in between, my Wi-Fi gone wrong. Okay. Yeah. So let me share my screen again. Okay, thanks for waiting, guys. Okay, right. Yeah, Wi-Fi issue, guys. Wi-Fi issues. Suddenly I went offline. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm really sorry for that. Yeah. So, okay, before going for different ways of security, like that would be JWT, that would be auth or default security or in-memory authentication. In-memory authentication. Okay, we'll try to see the architecture of Spring Security in detail, guys. Okay, we'll try to see the architecture of Spring Security in detail. right? Let us start online whiteboard. Right, guys, can you tell me some, at least if you have some idea, right, in the Spring Security architecture, can you please spell out in the, ping in the comment section, guys, if you have any idea about architecture, which components will come first, which component will come next. Likewise, if you have any idea, please do ping in the chat box, guys. See, first and foremost thing is there are two containers are there, guys. Okay, you can think like two big boxes. Okay, one is servlet container, okay, and second one is what, Spring Boot container. Second one is what, Spring Boot container, guys. Okay, this is the first classification. Okay, see, guys, in architecture, every time a new block will come, guys. Okay, every time a new block will come. The thing is, we need to correlate every block so that you can understand the architecture in a whole level. So my style of teaching is I will introduce each time a single block only. Okay, so that you can understand in a much clear way. Okay, right, see, there are two containers here. One is servlet container, and second one is Spring Boot container. Guys, if you remember in the starting classes, okay, in the starting classes, guys, 1 minute, someone is asking the link. Yeah, in the starting classes, I have told you something, right? Some servlet is there which will be acting like a frontline controller. Any idea, guys? Have you remembered? For Spring Boot application, there is some servlet is there which will be acting like a frontline controller. Any idea? Yes, can you recollect that concept? Dispatcher servlet. Very good, Bindu. It is dispatcher servlet. Correct. So in the Spring Boot container, see, so there are multiple modules inside Spring Boot container, guys. Okay. So this is controller. This is controller. Let's assume whichever we are, from daily you're seeing, right? Okay, normal REST controller, guys. Okay, this is controller layer. You can say REST controller. Okay, and this is dispatcher servlet, guys. You can see this is dispatcher servlet. Okay, this is dispatcher servlet, guys. Okay, understand? This is dispatcher servlet. Okay. Okay, this is dispatcher servlet. Guys, now can you tell me what is the intermediate layer between dispatcher servlet and REST controller? Any idea, guys? There is some intermediate layer between these two, guys. Any idea? Yeah, I want someone to answer this. Any idea, guys? Whoever knows Spring Boot already, you can try that. But if you don't know, just leave it. Okay, I'll tell you. So this layer is called what, guys? Interceptor. Okay, this layer is called what? Interceptor, guys. Okay, interceptor, guys. If you see, if you see in the background, right, this much story is there. Okay, before reaching controller, the request should pass through dispatcher servlet, and request should pass through interceptor. Okay, and request should pass through REST controller. Okay, that is the understanding you should have, guys. Okay, you should explain clearly in the interviewer. Okay, what the Spring Boot container should have. Okay, one is dispatcher servlet, second one is interceptor, and third one is REST controller, guys. Interceptor, the theory and examples on interceptor we'll see in AOP, guys. In aspect oriented programming classes, we'll see what is interceptor, what are different kinds of interceptor, what is aspect, what is proxy. We'll see all those things in the interceptor classes. Okay, just for time being, try to remember the terminology. Okay, right, guys. So far, any doubts, guys? Anyone? So far, any doubts? Have anyone? You guys have any doubts so far? See, this is simply what, guys? Spring Boot container. This is simply Spring Boot container. Okay, in that you have three layers. One is dispatcher servlet, one is interceptor, and one is REST controller, guys. Okay, one is REST controller. Guys, if you have any doubts so far, ping in the chat boxes. I will answer it. No, right? Guys, I'll wait for 1 more minute here. Guys, am I going speed? Is that okay? The pace which I'm speaking, is that okay? Am I audible properly, guys? Do you have any issues with respect to my voice or the pace which I'm going? Any issues? Please ping in the chat box. Okay. Bindu, function of interceptor. That was a big story, Bindu. Okay. I don't want to, start now. Okay. Ketan, yeah, Ketan, that interceptor part, that is not part of security. Okay. Because see, okay, in the interceptor part, there are, something like pre-handle, post-handle, likewise, guys. Okay. Before, executing any method, you can do something like, pre-handle, post handle, likewise you can have. Okay, but I don't want to go with interceptor now. Okay, just for time being, I just remember this. In interceptor class we'll try to explain that. Okay, right. Now in servlet container, yeah, this is servlet container, guys. Okay, guys, can you tell me what will be there in the servlet container? Any idea? What does a servlet container contain? Anyone? Any idea what does servlet container holds? Guys, if you know the answer, please ping in the chat box, guys. I'm happy to see all your responses. No, Nawaj. HTTP request. No, no, no. Init method. No, Bindu. HTTP response. No, Nawaj. See, my servlet container will be having n number of filters, guys. Remember that. Okay. Servlet container will be having n number of filters. Filter 1. Okay. Filter 2. Filter 3. Sorry, this is filter 2, right? Filter 3. Likewise, you have n number of filters are there. Okay, n number of filters are there, guys. I just for this one, I just want to show you some documentation, guys. Okay, for this one, I'll just want to show you some official Spring Boot documentation. Okay, you can type like, okay, Spring security filters, Spring security filters documentation. Okay, you'll get this link. See here, you can go through this official documentation of Spring Boot. Okay, see here, guys. You see here in the filter. See, these are all are called what, guys? Filters. Filter 0, filter 1, filter 2, filter 3. Okay, all are servlet filters only. Okay, the combination of filters is what, guys? Filter chain. Okay, you can say the filter chain is a combination of n number of filters. Okay, you can see the official documentation here. Let me share the link in the chat box. Okay. Guys, I have shared official documentation in the chat box. Please find that link, guys. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. See here. See here. See, guys. Spring security servlet supports is based on the servlet filters. Okay. You can see clearly, right? So whenever the client is hitting some response, that will pass through the servlet container, and my servlet container is having n number of filters. But what is that? N number of filters my servlet container is having, guys. Okay. Now you can see bit detail now. Now the next point is that now the next concept is there is some, see, you have a servlet container. As I already said, every request should pass through my servlet container. Am I correct, guys? Whichever the request is, whichever the request the client is sending, all the requests should pass through my servlet container. Am I correct? So the thing is, now tell me, after once my request is passing through servlet container, who is carrying my request to servlet container to Spring Boot container? Guys, are you able to understand the point here? My question is, who is carrying the control from servlet container to Spring Boot container? Any idea, guys? Who is acting like a bridge between these two guys? Guys, have you got my point, guys? My question is, there is servlet container here and there is Spring Boot container here. Okay, now my question is, who is carrying the control from servlet container to Spring Boot container? As I already said, my Spring Boot container contains 3 layers. One is dispatcher servlet, and second one is interceptor, and third one is controller layer. Okay, and my servlet container will be having n number of filters, likewise filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, and filter n. Guys, after few minutes I will explain which kind of filter will fit in the particular situation. Okay, based on the situation, the filters will change, guys. I'll explain that flow in a few minutes. But now my point is, who is carrying the control from servlet container to Spring Boot container? Any idea? Guys, who? No, dispatcher servlet is the bridge between, once my control reaches Spring Boot container, then my dispatcher servlet handles. But till it reaches Spring Boot container, there is some external force is there. Okay, can you tell me that? No idea? No issues, guys. I'll explain. See, there is something called delegating filter chain proxy, guys. Guys, the terminologies are very important, guys. The first terminology is what, guys? Delegating filter chain proxy. Delegating filter chain proxy. Guys, I'll prove this one, guys. How come my delegating filter chain proxy helping us? I'll show you in the debug. I will try to debug my application and I will show you the path. Okay, right? Just for time being, just wait now. See here, you can see in the official documentation. See here, who is that? Delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, see that in the filter chain. Okay, in the filter chain, my delegating filter chain proxy is the one which is carrying the response, which is carrying the control from servlet container to Spring Boot container. Guys, do you have any doubts so far? I will prove this. How come my filter chain proxy will work here? Okay, I will try to debug and show you guys. Okay, right. Guys, am I audible properly so far? Is that okay? The voice which I'm speaking. And if you have any doubts, please ping me, guys. Guys, Ketan, Nag Prasad, Bindu. Guys, do you have any doubts so far? Guys, am I audible properly? Is that okay? The voice which I'm speaking, the pace which I'm speaking, is that okay? Ketan, you mean no means what? I'm not audible. Okay, you mean no doubts, huh? Or not audible? Can you please confirm me? Because I can't get right. You're simply no. For me, no means what? You are not. I mean, not audible, or you don't have any doubts. No doubts. Okay, thanks for the confirmation, guys. Okay, guys, try to write bit clear. Okay, yeah, thank you, guys. Okay. Now let me show you the coding part, guys. Okay, we'll go for coding part now. Okay, guys, I will share the code base, guys. Okay, I'll have a code base. I'll share the code base in my GitHub. Okay, so please say hi to my number. Okay, if any new joiner is there, say hi to my number. I will share all the GitHub repos. Okay, whichever I have. But see, guys, today we'll be seeing all those things, guys. What is OAuth? What is DB authentication? What is JWT? Okay, everything we'll see that today. Okay, right. Let me switch the workspace. See, guys, in the meanwhile, let me give a quick recap. Okay, let me give you a quick recap, guys. Okay, see, from the beginning I have explained there are two big boxes. Okay, there are two big boxes. One is what? Servlet container. Okay, one is servlet container and one is Spring Boot container. Understand? And guys, can you tell me now, the different layers of Spring Boot container? Anyone in the chat box, can you please ping me? What are different layers of Spring Boot container and what are different layers of servlet container? And who is going to carry the control between servlet container to Spring Boot container? Anyone? Guys, can you summarize, guys? Whichever we have explained, right? In a few lines, can you please summarize in the chat box so that I just want to see how much you understood? Ketan, I don't have IntelliJ in my laptop, Ketan. Okay, but no worries. I'll help you, Ketan. Guys, can you summarize the different layers of Spring Boot container and different layers of servlet container? Anyone in the chat box, can you please ping me, guys? There are three different layers of Spring Boot container. One is interceptor and rest controller and dispatcher servlet. Okay, my servlet container will be having n number of filters, n number of filters. Okay, right, guys, let me summarize the points here. There are two containers. One is what? Spring Boot container. And second one is what, guys? Servlet container. Okay. My Spring Boot container is having what, guys? Tell me. My Spring Boot container is having what? Dispatcher servlet. And second one is what? Interceptor. And third one is what? REST controller. And my servlet container is having what, guys? My servlet container is having what? Tell me. N number of filters. And group of filters is what, guys? Group of filters is what? Anyone? You can see on the documentation. The group of filters is called what? Filter chain. The group of filters is called what? The filter chain. And I told you one point. There is some intermediator between servlet container to Spring Boot container. Can you name them? Guys, can you name the intermediator, guys? Anyone in the chat box? I just want to see. Yes, very good, little princess. Nawaj, very good, Nawaj. No, very good, very good, very good, Nag. Yes, Ketan. Delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, remember, guys, these terminologies are very, very important. Okay, delegating filter chain proxy. Delegating filter chain proxy will be acting like a intermediator, guys. I will show you, guys. Okay, I will try to debug the application and I will show you what is this delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, right. Let's go for code now. Okay, see, guys, now you can see here. Guys, I hope you guys are clear with the packaging structure of Spring Boot application, right? SRC main Java, total source code will be there. SRC main resources, properties will be there. SRC test Java, you can write JUnits. Okay, Maven dependencies, all jar files will be there. Likewise, and pom.xml, all dependencies will be there. Okay, so you can mention any dependency in the pom.xml, guys. Okay, right? Guys, now you see what I am doing here. Guys, security config I completely removed, guys. Okay, see here, I have written my own filter. See here, I have written my own filter. Okay, see, guys, I have written my own filter. Okay, before reaching to delegating filter chain proxy, I have written my own filter. Okay, using @component. Okay, see, using filter class filter interface, and that filter contains what, guys? Do filter method. And see, before reaching our endpoint, suppose if you're trying to hit this endpoint. Okay, if you're trying to hit this endpoint. Okay, if you're trying to hit these endpoints, before reaching the endpoint, as I said, before reaching the endpoint or before reaching the Spring Boot container, as I said, okay, servlet container will be before, right? So as I said, filters will be acting, you know, uh, like a gatekeeper. Okay, so before reaching any endpoint, this custom filter will be triggered, guys. Before reaching any endpoint, this filter will be triggered. So if you see the if you see the block diagram, if you see the block diagram, before reaching any controller, the filter will be triggered. So that's what I want to prove here, and I want to show you this delegating filter chain proxy in the stack trace. Okay, right. Now let me hit this application, guys. Let me run this. Let me run this application. Now you see, guys, in the POM file, you see, with respect to see, we are using 4.x, guys. Okay, parent version as 4.0.3. Okay, and second one, see, guys, I am using the Spring Boot starter security dependency. Okay, guys, I am using Spring Boot starter hyphen security. Guys, this this dependency is the one which will provide security feature to our application, guys. Okay, this dependency will do a lot of support to our application. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, the first and foremost thing is what? See, my application is started running, guys. My application has been started running. Am I correct? On port number 8080. Let me hit this endpoint. Let me hit this endpoint. Okay. Localhost 8080 API/DS. Okay. See, guys, is asking some authentication or not? This is because of what, guys? This is because of what? Our our security jar file. Okay, our security jar file. Okay, the username is user, guys. This is the default security. I'll explain, but before that I want to show you the delegating filter chain proxy and the filter functionality, so that I'm using this one now. Okay, right. Okay, welcome to workshop 1. Right now, you see, is it printing or not, guys? Is it printing or not? See, I have printed. I'm trying to print star star star. What, guys? HTTP get a request URI. That means what, guys? Before reaching the controller, my endpoint is traveling through filter. Okay, that is one conclusion. Before reaching any controller, my endpoint should travel through filter layer, and I have overridden the filter layer here. Okay, I have overridden the filter layer here. Okay, right, guys. Are you able to understand so far? Is that okay? The filter functionality before reaching the actual endpoint. Okay, my endpoint is traveling through the filter. Okay, that's what I want to prove. That's what I want to prove here. Okay, guys, any doubts so far? Yeah, yes. Now I'll wait. The next step is I'll show you the delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, guys, so far do you have any doubts? I just created one filter. Okay, and before reaching the controller layer, okay, we are traveling through filter layer. Okay, we are traveling to filter layer. Okay, and I have printed some sample log, so that it is a proof that my request is going through filter layer. Okay, right. Now we'll go for delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, we'll show you that one. Okay, delegating filter chain proxy. Let me debug the application, guys. Let me start in a debug mode. Let me stop this. Start with the debug as, guys. Okay, guys, those who are new to Spring Boot, if you want to debug the application, run with the debug as. Okay, Spring Boot app. Okay, I think this will directly will come now. Right, am I good? 1 minute. We'll open any incognito mode because we have already logged in once, right? There will be some time. Okay, session timeout, so it will be like that only. We'll try to log in this way. Yeah, see, guys, it is trying to load. Now you see, Now you see, right? See, what is this? Delegating filter proxy. Okay, you see here, guys. Delegating filter proxy. Guys, are you able to see my screen now? The line delegating. See, these are n number of filters are there. Security context holder filter, filter chain proxy, web basic management filter, filter chain proxy, disable proxy, filter chain proxy, and the one is what? Our focus is on what, guys? Delegating filter proxy. Okay, right? See, it is directly going to security context folder. Guys, I will explain you the flow. Okay, don't worry. I will explain you the security context. What is security context folder? But for time being, you understand delegating filter proxy is the one which is carrying the control between servlet container to Spring Boot container. Okay. Now, if you resume our application, see how it is traveling. Security still security context folder only. I will explain, guys, what is security context folder filter. See, it came to provider manager. I will explain all these things, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Again, it will come to security context folder. Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay. See, guys. Okay. Guys, are you able to understand the flow? Guys, don't worry about the total flow now. Now you try to understand what is filter, what does delegating filter chain proxy will do. Those two things only you try to understand now. Okay. For time being, I will explain everything. Okay, step by step. I will try to explain the total flow. Okay. See, again, it will hit this one only. Okay, right? This will go through the total flow, guys. Okay, because I applied breakpoints earlier. Now they are triggering now. Okay, just a minute. Right. Okay. Guys, don't worry, guys. All the layers which came right now. Okay, don't worry. I will explain all those layers. Okay, right, guys. So far, do you have any doubts so far now? Without Spring, can we see the filter? No bindu, no bindu. Without Spring security dependency, no, you can't see the filter. No, anything you can't see. See that login page also you won't see bindu. Okay, without that's what I'm saying. See, Spring security, as I said, right? As I said, as I said. So this filter box is there, no? So this, see, in our Spring Boot application, there are a lot of filters are there. But if you're using Spring Boot security, then you can see only particular filters. Earlier I shown you, right? Delegating filter chain proxy. Likewise, there are some filters only specific to Spring security. All the filters I already showed you, Bindu. Bindu, is that clear now? Okay, guys, I have explained about delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, and filters. Okay, the functionality of filter. Okay, so far now. Okay, but doubt is here is filters are in servlet side. Still, we didn't enter into. No, no, Bindu. If you remember, if you see the flow, okay, I will explain you the flow, Bindu. Don't worry. I'll no in the upcoming class, upcoming session, I'll explain that. Okay, just hold on for that. Okay, I'll explain that doubt. Okay, yeah, that's a good doubt. Okay. Let us go through. Let us get back to this official documentation. Okay. Now you see, in filter chain, we have a delegating filter proxy. Inside that, we have a filter chain proxy. For that, inside filter chain proxy, you have security filters case. Okay, security filters. Okay, inside security filter chain also, we have n number of filters are there. See here. Guys, are you able to get this block diagram? Guys, I'm trying to explain the filters in detail, guys. See, inside filter chain, we have a delegating filter proxy, which I already showed you. And inside that filter chain proxy is there. Inside filter chain proxy, there are security filters starting from security filter 0 to security filter n. Okay, Bindu, as you asked, right? If we as we use the Spring Starter security, that's why you can see delegating filter chain proxy. And inside the delegated filter chain proxy, you can see all these filters, Bindu. Security filter 0, security filter 1, security filter n. Okay. See, our target is to break all these security filter chains today. Okay, all these security filters we'll see now. Okay, right? Right, guys, are you clear with this block diagram? Are you guys clear with this block diagram or not? Any doubts guys so far? And now let me tell you one point. This security filter might be, sometimes it should be username password authentication filter. What is that? Username password authentication filter. Username password authentication filter. Okay, sometimes it is basic filter. Okay. If you are using any form, right? If you are using a form, okay, form to authenticate, then your username password authentication filter will trigger, guys. Then your username password authentication filter will trigger. Okay, if you're using basic authentication, then this basic filter will be triggered. So that's what I want to say. There are n number of filters here based on your purpose, based on your the dependence you're using, the based on your jar files present. Okay, your filters will vary. Okay, clear, people? Guys, if you are clear with the block diagram so far, then I'll move to the next step. Okay. Guys, so far, are you clear with this block diagram? Any doubts, guys? Anyone? Guys, I'm asking, do you have any doubts so far in this block diagram so far? So I have explained what is filter, what is delegating filter chain proxy, what is security filter chain. Okay, inside filter chain, we have a delegating filter proxy. Inside filter chain proxy, we have security filter chain. We have n filters here. Okay. Guys, try to remember the words here. Okay, they are very, very important, guys. Okay. Right. Now let me enlarge the, let me extend our architecture now, okay, to the next level. Okay, if you are able to understand the architecture so far, then we'll move to the next step, guys. Okay, we'll move for the next step. Okay, right. Right. Yeah, as I said, in filters we have a mainly username password authentication filter. What's that, guys? Username password authentication filter. And second one is basic filter. I'll show you guys all these things. And third one is what? Security context holder filter. I'll tell you the purpose of. So likewise, there are, based on the situation, the respective filter will be triggered, guys. Security context holder filter. Okay. These are all filters layers. And the next important layer, Bindu. Now your doubt, now your answer is C, Bindu here. There is a provider layer. There is a provider layer inside Spring Boot container. Okay. So inside Spring Boot container, you have a provider layer. Okay. Okay. See, based on your filter selected, based on the filter selected, the respective provider will be executed. Based on your filter selector, okay, filter, the respective provider will be executed. Okay. One is what? Dove authentication provider. And LDAP OAuth authentication provider. LDAP authentication provider. And JWT authentication provider. So based on your filter you use, the respective provider will be triggered, and your provider is part of what? Spring Boot container, guys. Okay. Now can you tell me who is acting like intermediate between the filter and provider? Anyone? Who is acting like an intermediate between the filter and provider, guys? Anyone? Guys, anyone have any idea who is acting? Guys, I will show you all these things in the code base. I will debug and I'll show you all these blocks, guys. See, from the here I came to know filters is the starting point. Inside filters, okay, the most useful filters are what? There are 3 to 4 filters are there, and the most useful providers are what? There are 3 to 4 providers are there. Now, my question is, who is acting like an intermediate between filter to provider? Anyone? Guys, don't worry, I will show all those blocks in a debugging mode. Okay, don't worry. But first, let me explain the theory part, then we'll go for debugging. Okay. Remember, guys, there is something called authentication manager. Who is that? Authentication manager, guys. Authentication manager. Authentication manager, guys. Okay. Inside this, we have a provider manager. Guys, this is the architecture so far. Okay. See, first I started with what, guys? Two big containers. First I started with what? Two big containers. One is servlet container and second one is Spring Boot container. As I said, Spring Boot container is having 3 layers. One is what? Interceptor, REST controller, and dispatcher servlet. And as I said, servlet container will be having n number of filters. Inside that, one filter is what? Delegating filter chain proxy. From delegating filter chain proxy, you have n number of security filters are there. Okay. Now you can see the block diagram. Okay. And so inside this n number of filters, the most useful filters are what, guys? These are the most repeatedly used filters: username password authentication filter, basic filter, security context holder filter. And this is a provider layer. Okay, this is provider layer. Now based on your filter, the respective provider layer will be triggered. The respective provider will be triggered. Guys, remember, filters and providers are very dynamic. Based on the situation and scenario, respective filter will be triggered and respective provider will be triggered. And my authentication manager is like acting like a intermediator, guys. Okay, remember that. Okay, guys. So far, do you have any doubts? You can ping in the chat box. Yeah, if it is clear, I'm really happy, guys. Bindu, now you got your answer, Bindu. The thing is, the providers are part of Spring Boot container. The manager is a part of Spring Boot container. Okay, from field, only one filter will be triggered from the servlet container. From that filter to the provider, the backend force is what? Delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, Bindu? Right. Thank you, guys. Guys, I want everyone to be ping in the chat box, guys. Okay, be interactive so that I can understand how far you are able to grasp how far you are able to grab the concepts. Okay, right? If you're able to ping, if you're pinging, right, then I can understand about your understanding, yeah, about your grasping power and everything, right? Yeah, clear. Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you, little princess. I don't know your name. Okay, right? You see here, guys. Now let us summarize all these points. Okay, so delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, let me write DFCP. Okay, delegating filter chain proxy contains what, guys? Filter chain proxy. It contains what? Filter chain proxy. Okay, internally it is having n number of security filters. Am I correct? Okay, out of those n number of security filters, the most famous ones are what? The most most repeatedly used ones are what, guys? One is what? Username, password authentication filter, and second one is what? Basic authentication filter. Third one is what? Security context authentication filter. Security context holder filter. Bindu, Prashanti, guys, Nawaj, guys, are you able to understand, guys, so far? Is that okay? The concepts which I'm teaching, are you able to follow? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. What is provider manager? Princess, I'll explain, Princess. Okay, little princess. I'll explain. Right now, let us execute the application and we'll debug the application, guys. We'll come to know. Okay, we'll come to know. Guys, ping me hi in the WhatsApp. I'll share the notes, guys. Okay, this is not required now. This part. Okay, you see, guys, now there is no security config class. Okay, I haven't overridden security config class. There is no filter class. Filter also you can remove now. Okay, now the thing is, you can see here custom security. Okay, see, if you are not giving any username and password, see, suppose if you want your own username and password, okay, you can name here. But if you don't want to name your own username and password, okay, the username is user and the password is system generated one. Okay, if you're not giving the username and password, the username is user and password is system will generate. Password is system will generate, guys. Guys, can you name the approach? Can you name this approach, guys? System generated. The approach is what, guys? This approach is called default security. This approach is called what, guys? Default security. Okay, default security. Default security means what? We won't define, guys. We started with the approaches. There are, as I said in the beginning, there are 6 approaches are there, guys. My style of teaching is parallelly I will explain architecture and parallelly I will explain the approaches. Okay, try to follow. Okay, if you have any doubts, please try to ping him in the chat box. Now the thing is what? Username is user and password is system generated. In this scenario, the approach is what? Default security, guys. Okay, see, nothing, just I written one controller layer and no filter, no security config, nothing, guys. Okay, just I have only one controller layer. Okay, guys, remember, if you are using any form based authentication, the filter will be triggered is what? Username password authentication filter, guys. This is very very important point, guys. Okay, if you are using any form based authentication, the filter will be triggered is what? Username password authentication filter. Let me write that point. Okay, let me write that point and I'll show you also practically. I'll show you, guys. Okay, don't worry. If you are using any form based authentication, okay, the filter that will be triggered is what? The filter that will be triggered is what? Username password authentication filter. Can you tell me where is this username password authentication filter will be located at? Anyone? Guys, if you understand the architecture, can you tell me where is this username password authentication filter will be there? Any idea? Come on. Where is this username password authentication filter? I explained multiple times so far. Not provider manager Bindu. The username password authentication filter is there in the what? See here. In the security filter chain. Okay. Inside security filter chain, my username password authentication filter is one of the filter. Okay. Inside security filter chain, see filter chain, then security filter chain. Inside security filter chain, my username password authentication filter will be one of the filter. Okay. Clear people? Yes. Expression. The filter chain proxy law. Security filter chain untadi. A security filter chain lo one of the filter is called what? Username password authentication filter. Okay, let me debug and show you guys. Okay, what is username password authentication filter? What is provider manager? What is provider? Okay, everything I'll show you now. Okay, let me debug the application. Okay, and the approach is what, guys? If you're not giving username and password, the approach is what? Default security. If you're not giving any username and password, the approach is what? Default security, guys. Okay. See here, I am not giving any username and password. This is called default security, and the username is called user, and password is system generated. When it comes to architecture diagram, I have explained till okay, filter layer, authentication manager, and provider layer. Let me debug and show you all the three layers, guys. Okay, let me debug and show you all the three layers. Okay, right. See guys, the system is generating some password. The system is generate some random password, and the username is what? User. As I already wrote in the default security, that is approach one. Guys, remember default security, custom security, in-memory authentication. These three we won't use in the real time. Remember that point, guys. Okay. These three we won't use in the real time, guys. Okay. Okay. Now let me hit the endpoint. Localhost 8080 API/DS. See guys, it is generating a form. Okay, guys, my doubt is, did I write any front end logic, guys, to generate the form? Did I write any front end logic? No, I haven't written any front end logic. I just used Spring Starter Security. That Spring Starter Security is very much intelligent enough. It will generate a random form like this. Okay, to authenticate. Now you see, username is okay. Guys, I think I should start in a debug mode, guys. Then I can show you everything, right? 1 minute. Sorry, guys. I should start in a debug mode. See, right click, debug as. Okay, debug as Spring Boot app, because I want to show you username authentication filter, and I want to show you what? I want to show you provider manager, and I want to show you provider. Okay, right? Now you see. Okay, see guys, as I am running in debug mode, see the first it will go to security context holder filter. Okay, first it will go to security context holder filter. The security context holder filter is whether the same user is already authenticated or not. If the same user is already authenticated, the control will not move to the next layers. Okay, just security context holder will handle. Okay, So that means if you see the architecture diagram, if you follow this architecture diagram, okay, there is something called what? Security context holder filter. It will check whether the particular user is already authenticated or not. Okay, if it is already authenticated, the total flow it will skip, guys. Okay, the total flow it will skip. If the guy is not already authenticated, okay, then it will follow the total process. Okay, for that reason, it is going for what, guys? Security context holder filter. Okay, let me write that point. Security context holder filter is for what? Security context holder filter is for whether to check that authentication is already happened or not. To check that that user is already authenticated or not. Okay, user is already authenticated or not. Okay, clear? Yeah. Now you see, we'll see this debug. Okay, you see now. Let me resume it. Okay, see the flow, guys. Okay, try to observe the flow. Once I resume, see, still we are in security context holder only. Okay, let it be. Now you try to log in. We'll try to log in now. Okay. Okay. See, now one flow is done. Okay. Now it will ask for login. Okay. See, before displaying the login page, okay, it is going for security context folder. Now you see, user by default it's going for now we'll give the password. Now again, it will be triggered. See here. Guys, now you see the everything, guys. Security context folder filter. See, guys, now guys, can you see this class name? What is this? Username, password, authentication filter. Guys, are you able to see the class name? See here. What is this? Username, password, authentication filter. Okay, which is extending this abstract authentication filter that internally will extend filter. Okay, guys, are you able to understand how this username, password, authentication filter will be triggered? See here. First, it will go to security context folder filter. Then, as we are using form-based authentication, it will go to username, password, authentication filter. Guys, are you clear here so far? Any doubts? Even first default, yes, Bindu, because it will check whether that guy is already authenticated or not. So if the guy is already authenticated, I can skip the entire flow. Okay. Suppose simple Bindu, if you already logged into some HDFC bank account, suppose next time if you simply type the URL, you will log in, right? No need to authenticate, right? No need to give the password, authenticate ID, anything you won't give, right? Because that that will skip the total DB call. Okay, because DB operation is very costly, guys. If you're able to skip the DB calls, you can have a lot of you can have a great advantage. Guys, so far are you guys clear? Any doubts, guys? See here, username, password, authentication filter. Okay, let me run now. Let me run the debugger. Okay, see guys, now you see here, username is what? User. If you hover, right, you can see that. Okay, password, set details. See guys, now after username, password, authentication filter, it is arriving in where it will come to provider manager. Okay, it will come to provider manager, guys. Okay, you can see here provider manager. So that means what? After username, password, authentication filter, it will come to provider manager. Guys, can you tell me what is the responsibility of the provider manager? Anyone? I already told you. What is the responsibility of the provider manager? To find the appropriate, come on, to find the appropriate, anyone? Guys, I'm asking what is the functionality of provider manager. As you already see in the screen, okay, it is first going to username password authentication filter, then it is traveling to provider manager. And I already told you the function. Yes, Prashant, that's right. You can see here provider. See, my provider manager is checking which provider will suitable in this scenario. You can see the inbuilt code. This is, guys, this is totally inbuilt code, guys. Okay, authentication, this all filters, providers, everything is inbuilt code. Okay, everything is inbuilt code. Now you see, it is trying to check which provider is suitable for the need, which provider will suitable for the need, guys. Okay, right. Okay, see, if it is not supporting, it will keep on continue. If some provider is supporting, then it will come over here. See here, let me see now. Over on this provider, guys, can you see the name of the provider? Can you see the name of the provider? Come on, you can see the name there. What's that? DAO authentication provider. Okay, see, as you are using username password authentication filter, the appropriate provider is what? DAO authentication provider. Guys, are you clear so far? Any doubts? Guys, just you need to understand on a high level the code flow internally, how the code is flowing internally. Okay, that you need to understand on a high level at least, guys, because that is very much important while you handle your project situations. Okay, right. Yes, so far are you clear? I have shown you username password authentication filter, provider manager, and DAO authentication provider. Okay, see, again it will go to security contextual filter. Let's leave it. That's it, guys. I'm done with the flow. Now you can see the response here. Okay, workshop 1. Guys, are you able to understand the architecture diagram with the debugging? With the debugging, I'm trying to explain the architecture. Are you able to understand? I have already shown you. Come on, I already shown you. See here, I already shown you username password authentication filter. Okay, and I have already shown you and explained you security context holder filter, and I have already explained you about, and I already shown you about this provider manager, and here also this one also I already shown you, right? Guys, are you clear with this? Are you guys clear or not? Please tell me. Guys, after provider also there are some more layers are there, guys. See, the security is this, like this only you should study, guys. If you simply by heart, right, you won't clear the interview. I'm very sure on that. Security is very depth, it is in-depth concept. Okay, it is an experiential level concept. So you should understand the concepts in minute level so that you can handle the project situations really well. Okay. Clear, right? Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, little princess. Yes. Thank you, guys. Oh my God. Right. Now, let me show you what is this basic filter will do. When this basic filter will arrive. Okay. I already shown you what is username password authentication filter. Let me show you how to enable the basic filter. Okay. Right. You can see now. See, guys, this is the basic. See, I have provided this basic filter chain. See, I don't want, every time I don't want username password authentication filter, guys. Okay, I want some other filter, that is basic filter. So you can override the security filter chain. So based on your requirement, you can override the security filter chain. See here, this is what? HTTP basic. That means what? This is basic filter. This is not a username password authentication filter. This is what, guys? Basic filter. Okay. Now let me stop this and rerun again. Okay. Yes, again, you can see the flow. First, it will go to security context holder filter. Then it will go to the basic filter. Then it will go to the provider manager. Then it will go to the provider. Okay, that is the flow, guys. you should understand. After provider also there are one more layer is there. Let me explain that. Okay, when the respective example comes, I will explain that in that time. Okay, just hold on for that time. Oh my. See guys, it is going to where the debugging mode. Yeah, see here again it started from where security context folder filter. It will check any user is already authenticated or not. See, it is done. Now you see here. Guys, remember the basic authentication filter will trigger you a dialog box like this. Okay, in JavaScript, you can design this dialog box. Is that right? So remember the basic authentication filter always trigger the dialog box like this. Okay, and username password authentication filter will display the form page. Okay, like earlier, which I showed you. Okay, remember the difference, guys. Okay, remember the difference. Username password authentication filter. Username password authentication filter will display you a login page. Okay, if you are using basic filter, basic authentication filter, then it will display you a dialog box. It will display you a dialog box. Okay, guys, just hold on for some time. Guys, we'll try to wrap up the things. Okay, we'll see how much we can cover today. Right. Right. Now you see, enter the username. Password is what, guys? System generated. See, now it will go for here. Again, it will trigger security context folder filter. It will check whether the particular user is already authenticated or not. Okay, see here. Guys, can you see the class name now? What is the class name now, guys? Anyone? You can see here. This is what? Basic authentication filter. What is that? Basic authentication filter. Okay. Basic authentication filter, guys. Guys, are you able to understand this concept? Clear, right? Okay. See, if you are yes, Bindu. If you are using a basic authentication filter, the first class that will be triggered is what? Basic authentication filter. If you are using form-based authentication, the first class that will be triggered is what? After security context folder, username, password, authentication filter. Okay. Right. You see here. See, after basic authentication filter, it is commonly going to where, guys? Provider manager. Okay, as I already said, the provider manager will try to figure out the respective provider. Okay. Okay, that's it, guys. Right. Yeah, you see here. Guys, you can see here whether it is a basic authentication filter or username authentication filter, but the provider is the same. But in these two scenarios, the provider is the same. There is no guarantee that each filter is having a different providers. It's not like that. Okay, sometimes multiple filters are having the same provider layer. Okay, you can see here the authentication provider only. Guys, these things should debug and understood, guys. Okay, you should debug and understood this all these things. Okay. Okay, see here. Guys, are you able to understand the architecture diagram, guys, so far? You see here, I have explained about filter layer. Okay, inside I have explained about three filters now. In that I have explained about three filters now. And next layer is what? Authentication manager. We have a provider manager, and you have a provider layer. Okay, in that we have I have shown you the authentication provider. Okay, the authentication provider. Guys, hold on this block diagram for a while. we'll go to the approach 2. Okay, we'll go for approach 2. But what is that approach 2, guys? Anyone? Custom security. We have completed default security. What is that? See, guys, there are 6 approaches of security are there. One is what? Default security. And second one is what? Custom security. And third one is what? In-memory authentication. Fourth one is what? Come on, DB authentication. And fifth one, JWT, very important, JWT. And sixth one, OAuth. Right? These 6 will try to cover, guys. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to cover 2 to 3 approaches, but today I'm very sure we'll cover till here. Okay, we'll try to cover till 4 approaches. We'll try to complete today. Okay, right? Guys, custom security means in default security, the username is user and the password is custom generated, right? In custom security, you can use your own username and password is also your own password you can keep. Okay, right? You can see now. Guys, so far, any doubts, guys, you have, you can ping me in the chat box. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Guys, are you following this? Prashanti, Nawaj, Nandalal, I hope you guys are following because I can't see any doubt from you guys. But yeah. Right. Now we'll go for the approach number 2. What is that? Custom security. In custom security, see here. In custom security, you can give your own username and own password. Okay, that is what. See here, remember the syntax, guys. Remember the syntax. Okay, spring.secure.user.name. Let me name it as Sunil Tech. And spring.secure.user.password. Let me name it as Sunil Tech. Okay, clear? See, now the username is what? Sunil Tech and password is what? Sunil Tech. Okay, right? Let me stop everything. Guys, I hope now I stop debugging, guys. Okay, now I can directly execute the application, right? I hope the debugging is very clear, right? The flow is what? Security context holder filter, then filter, the respective filter, then provider manager, then what? Provider. Okay, so far the flow is clear, right? So let me stop everything and let me run in a normal mode only. Guys, I have done with the debugging thing, guys. Okay, I'm done with the debugging thing. Okay, now run as Spring Boot app. Okay, let me write localhost 8080 API /ds. Okay. See, based on the filter, as I already said, it is not based on the approach, guys. Based on the respective filter you are using, okay, that will be populated. If you are using basic authentication, you can see a dialog box. If you are using username password authentication filter, you can see a form page. But both are the same. You can see here. Guys, this is approach number 2, guys. Approach number 2. That means approach number 2 is what? Instead of system generated password, you can use your own password and you can use your own user ID. Okay, own user ID. Okay, clear? Guys, I have done with 2 approaches. Are you guys clear with the 2 approaches? If you have any doubts, please feel free to ping in the chat box, guys. Guys, do you have any doubts, guys? In the first two approaches, I completed two approaches. One is default security, and second one is custom security. Bindu, am I audible properly? Bindu, Prashant, am I audible properly? Is that okay? The voice modulation. Okay, all clear. Okay, guys, right. Let me go for approach number 3. Approach number 3 is what? In-memory authentication. Okay, thank you, guys. Guys, we have completed two approaches. Okay, and architecture we are in the mid level. Okay, we are in the mid level. Okay, in-memory authentication. Guys, anyone tell me what is in-memory authentication? Any idea? By the name itself, you can tell me, guys. By the name itself, you can explain me what is in-memory authentication. What is in-memory authentication, guys? Come on, tell me. With IB at back memory, in memory, yeah. No, Bindu. See, guys, if you remember, yeah, if you remember, in custom security or the default security, you can create a login for single user. Okay, suppose if I created a bank or if I started some small company, in that 20 guys are there, 50 guys are there, okay, 100 guys are there. So will that one login is sufficient for all the guys? Tell me, guys, is that one login is sufficient for all the people? No, right? Definitely no. In the default security or the custom security, we only created a single login. Okay, but the single login is not sufficient for 20 people. Internal memory, very good, little princess. Yeah, very good. See, that one login is not at all sufficient. So for that, we go for in-memory authentication, guys. This popularly in rural, okay, you can see small banks, right? Grameen Vikas Bank or something small are there, right? For those, this in-memory authentication is very much sufficient, guys. Okay. Yes, Prashant. The confidence Spring Boot. Correct. Now we see here. See, if you commented out this, you can see username password authentication filter. Okay. See, now see, guys. This is what in-memory authentication, guys. See, guys. Now here the concept of role will come. The concept of role will come. Okay. You see here, the username is user and password is what? 1234. And one more username is admin and password is what? Admin123. Okay, admin123. Guys, now tell me what is this role, guys? What do you mean by role? Anyone? Guys, let me give you some layman example. Okay, you can take a bank example, guys. You can take some bank example. Okay, see in the bank, okay, you can see a PO is there, okay, clerk is there, and bank manager is there. Am I correct? In the bank, you can say there will be a PO, there will be a clerk, and there will be a bank manager. Am I correct, guys? Now tell me, can the clerk can enter into bank manager role? No. The PO can enter into the bank manager role? No. So that means what? You can have a certain role access, guys. You can see here certain role access. Okay. That means a clerk can perform only his action. A PO can perform only his action only. A bank manager can perform only his action only. Right? Suppose if you want to give some other example, you can see our company in the software companies, right? Okay, your HR can see all your salaries. Am I correct? But you can't see all your salaries, right? All the employee salaries you can't see, but your HR can see. Am I correct? So in this way, the role will be defined, guys. Okay, you can define a particular user is what kind of role the user is having. What kind of role the user is having? Whether that guy is a clerk or PO or admin Or in the software company, you can name it as a HR or a senior engineer or a CEO or a project manager. Likewise, the role is different and username is different. Remember that. Okay, guys, are you able to understand the role-based access? Yes, guys. The thing is, role-based access means what? If you are able to enter into the portal, you need to use your own resources only. You are not supposed to use the manager resources. You are not supposed to use the HR resources like that. That's where role-based authentication will come. Okay, right. In the role-based authentication, I want to tell you two status codes. One is what? 401, and second one is what? 403. Okay, two status codes are there, guys. Okay, there are two status codes, very very important here in this context. One is what, guys? 401. If your authentication is wrong, that means what? If your username or password is wrong, you will get 401. If your role is wrong, okay, if you are trying to access the role which is not allocated to you, then you'll get 403 unauthorized error. Okay, you will get 403 unauthorized error. Okay. See, these two status codes are very, very important, guys. One is what? 401, and second one is what? 403. These two status codes are very, very important while dealing with security, because you can see only these two errors only, whether it is 401 or 403. Guys, are you clear? I will show you, guys, both the status codes. I will show you now, because we entered into the role-based authentication. Okay, we have completed default authentication, and second one is what? Custom authentication. Now we entered into in-memory authentication, where we are defining the roles for each user. Okay, clear, people? Guys, so far, do you have any doubts? Please feel free to ping me in the chat box so that I can understand your doubts. Yes, Nag Prasad, definitely right. Suppose your project manager is having different functionalities. Okay, as a senior engineer, you don't have those many functionalities. Your HR is having a different functionalities. Okay, you can compare with that. Definitely, each role has a different functionalities. Okay. See, the thing is, once you entered into the portal, that doesn't mean you can enter, you can do anything. You can do only the roles which are specified to you only. Okay. That means what? You can enter your attendance, you can apply for leave, or like that. But you can't see the salaries of your friends, right? You can't see the salaries of your CEO. You can't do that, right? Yeah, that's what. Okay. Only HR can see that. Am I correct? See, guys, in this way, see, I have defined the username, password, and the role also. Okay, and the role also. You see here, admin 123, and admin also. See, this is one bean. This is one bean, guys. And second bean is what? In security filter chain. In security filter chain, I am going with the HTTP basic, and I am telling, okay, the admin has access to this resource. See, the admin has access to all the resources, guys. Okay, the user has access to the user endpoint, and admin has access to user endpoint. But user has no access for admin endpoint. Remember that. Okay, this is the meaning here. This is the meaning here. Okay, right? Let me execute and show you, guys. Let me execute and show you now. Okay. See, remember, Sunil is user and admin is admin. Okay, admin have access to both the endpoints, but Sunil having access to only single endpoint. Remember that. Okay. You can see we have written 4 endpoints here. One is admin/ds. One is user/ds. User/ds. Any normal user can use that, but admin endpoint only the admin guy can use that. Okay, only the admin guy. Okay. Suppose if someone wanted to change the future, only admin can log in and change the future, but normal user can't join and change the future, right? Am I correct, guys? Let me restart the application. Okay. Okay, let me execute the endpoints now. Okay, see here, let me execute this admin endpoint. Okay, if I'm trying to log in with Sunil, okay, with Sunil access, if I'm trying to log in with admin endpoint, you will get a 403 error, guys. You will get a 403 error. That is the expectation now. Okay, now we'll try to log in this admin endpoint, and you are supposed to get which kind of error? 403 status code error. Okay, you can see here. Localhost. See, the username is what, guys? Sunil, right? Am I correct? See here, username is Sunil and password is what? 1234. Guys, this Noop is different, guys. This Noop is so that so that suppose if you don't want your passwords to hack, right? You can use Noop. It will be decrypted internally. Internally, it will be decrypted in the memory. Okay. Internally, it will be decrypted, guys. Okay. Right. Sunil, password is what? 1234. Okay. Yeah, now let me log in with the admin DS. I think I made a mistake, guys. Okay. Localhost 8080 API admin DS. See, with the Sunil login, if I am trying to log into admin, you can see 403 status code. Guys, are you clear? You can see the status code number also. You can see the status code number also, guys. Guys, we'll wrap it in a few more minutes, guys. Okay, just hold on for a while, because tomorrow the second part will come complete. Okay, the JWT OAuth and DB authentication, the last three approaches will cover tomorrow, guys. Okay, please do join for tomorrow also. Okay, guys, so far do you have any doubts? Guys, is it class is going boring? Is it that way, or is it interesting, guys? I'm trying to make you guys feel interesting as much as possible. I'm trying my level best to teach better way. Right, guys. So that is about in-memory authentication, guys. So if you see here, we have completed. What is that? Could you please execute the last one now? Sure, Prashant. The last one means what? In-memory authentication. And then I'm going I think choose you can see, right? Yeah, simple, right? See here. If I see, I already logged in with what? Sunil. Here, I already logged with Sunil. Okay. Now, with the same Sunil, if I'm trying to access admin page, admin URL, you will get what? 403 status code. Prashant, is that clear, Prashanti? Guys, is that clear? 403 status code. Versus user DS. Okay, you want me to log into user/DS? Huh? Okay, very good. See here, because Sunil have access, no, that one user DS, so you will get the response, Prashanti. See here, workshop 3. So Sunil can log in into AP without user, without admin. Sunil can log into API/DS. Sunil can log into user/DS, but Sunil can't log into admin/DS. Okay, that's a valid thing you should understand here. Okay, Prashanti, is that okay now? Thank you, Naga. Guys, tomorrow we'll try to cover the last three approaches, guys. Before that, we'll complete the architecture diagram and we'll leave for the day. These three things we'll cover tomorrow. So today we covered three approaches with the filters, with the authentication manager, providers, and everything we covered, right? Architecture we have covered. But tomorrow we'll cover all these three, okay? But before leaving, I want to take a small concept. I want to teach you a small concept, okay? Because I can understand the class is going more than 1.5 hours, right? You feel a bit bored, I know. So that's why I want to leave for the day. So tomorrow at the same time, please do join. But before leaving, I just want to explain a small concept here. See, See guys, so far so far you have seen authentication for a single user. You have seen authentication for 20 users, 30 users are there. Suppose if there are 1 lakh users are there, do you think do you think this in-memory authentication will survive the purpose? Suppose if there are 1 lakh users are there, do you think the in-memory authentication will help here? Definitely no. Am I correct, guys? In-memory authentication definitely it won't help. Okay. Now, if there are more, if you have users like this, you need to go for DB. You need to take the support of database. That means what? While registering, you need to store the details in the database. Username, password. We'll confirm, right? Username, password, and address, current address, temporary address. Likewise, you'll give Aadhaar number. Okay, we will store in the DB. While trying to log in, okay, go to DB and compare whether the record is having whether any record is having username and password as the credentials or not. Okay, you can check. Okay, that is the DB authentication case that we'll see tomorrow. Okay, suppose while trying to log in, okay, we need to check with the existing. We need to check with the existing. We check with existing username and password. This approach is called what, guys? DB authentication. Okay, DB authentication that will start tomorrow. Okay, what is this, guys? This is bit typical. Okay, bit difficult to DB authentication. Okay, now you see here. Now if you try to recollect the block diagrams, architectures, this is what filters, and this filters is part of delegating filter chain proxy. Am I correct? Inside filters you have a security context holder filter, okay, and username password holder filter, and basic authentication filter. Am I correct? These are filters. Then comes what, guys? Authentication manager. Authentication manager. Then comes what? Provider layer. Now my question is, who will communicate with DB? Do you think the provider layer will directly communicate with DB, or do you think some external force is required to connect with DB? See, this is the DB. Okay, if you remember, as I told earlier, while trying to log in the next approach, you need to check with the DB. But now tell me, will the provider layer is enough to connect with the DB, or do you think any other interface support is required? Anyone? Guys, anyone? Prashant ఎవరైనా చెప్తారా? Remember, guys, use the detail service. Okay, the next layer is what? Use the detail service. Now the provider will take the support of what? Use the detail service. Guys, this is the entire block diagram, guys. Okay, this is the entire architecture. Use the detail service to connect with the DB. Okay, so remember, guys, filters is the layer 1, authentication manager is the layer 2, and provider is the layer 3, and user detail service is the layer 4, and the database is the dead end. Okay, database is the dead end. Now, once if it is true, now that result will be passed to here, that result will be passed to back, and that result will be passed to back, and that result will be passed to back, and that will be stored in the security context holder filter. What is that? Security context holder filter. Whether it is authenticated or not, that will be stored in where, guys? Security context holder filter. Okay, so that's why if you remember, any endpoint, first it is checking in where? Security context holder filter. Okay, security context holder filter. Guys, I think I used a lot of jargons today. Okay, if you remember from the beginning, okay, I told what guys at the beginning. I told servlet container and a Spring Boot container. In Spring Boot container, you have interceptor, REST control, and dispatch servlet. Okay, and I told the intermediate between these two guys is what? Delegating filter chain proxy. The intermediate between these two guys is what? Delegating filter chain proxy. Okay, and then inside delegating filter chain proxy, there are n number of security filters are there. Guys, filters are different, security filters are different. Okay, if you use the Spring security, you can see this delegating filter chain proxy into the control, and this delegating filter chain proxy will be having n number of security filters. The group of security filters is called what? Security filter chain, and the group of filters is called what? Filter chain. Okay, inside security filter chain, username password authentication is the one of the filter. Okay, and basic filter is one of the filter. Security context holder is one of the filter. Okay, right? You can see here, and the filters will speak with what? Authentication manager will try to allocate the respective provider, and the most famous one is what? Dove authentication provider. Okay, whether you are using username password authentication filter or the basic filter, the only provider will be triggered is what? Dove authentication provider. Clear? Okay, and I hope I gave you enough summary, guys. Okay, tomorrow we'll see the next three approaches. Okay, the next three approaches, guys. If you want notes, right, ping me hi to this number. Who is not there with me, ping me hi with this number. I will share the notes, guys. I just want a feedback, guys. Anyone, what you feel the whole class, right? You feel whatever you feel in the workshop, right? You can comment, so that, okay, that, if some improvement is required, or you feel good or you feel bad, anything you can write. Okay, it's up to you. If you give me some feedback, I'll take for improvement for my upcoming classes. Okay, I'll be waiting for I will be waiting for few more minutes, guys. Okay, if you have any doubts, ping me, or if you want to write the feedback, please write it. Yeah, guys, I hope I gave my best of my explanation today. So we covered filters, we covered the servlet container, we covered Spring Boot container. Okay, and we covered provider manager. Okay, and we covered providers, and we covered user detail service, which is the last jargon which I use it today, and tomorrow we'll see that. Okay, for that one. Okay, guys, I'm just waiting for any doubts or the feedbacks you want to give. You can ping in the chat box. I'm happy to take. Okay, anyway, thanks for the joining on weekend, guys. Thanks for that. Guys, I'll wrap up in 3 more minutes, guys. Thank you, Prashanti. Good explanation. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prasad. Guys, if you don't have doubts, you can drop. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, feel free to drop, guys. Tomorrow at the same time we'll connect. Okay. Okay, Manish. Thank you, Nagprasad. Thank you. I'm really happy to look your feedbacks, guys. I'm just waiting for the feedbacks. If are any doubts, also you can ask me. No issues. Okay, guys. I hope I'll drop for the day. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. Thanks for joining.